I'm just going to flick back over to here. So in terms of like the actual manifesto, we've talked a bit about like the do's and don'ts of that. Now, obviously, I want you to just spend 5 minutes now thinking about actual content. So obviously you've noted that the things that draw you in might be, you know, the color, the design, how much writing is on a manifesto. They're the things that are going to make you read it, but the content inside is what people are going to vote for. So I wanted to just spend 5 minutes doing like a really quick brainstorm of like, what are all the student issues right now? What do people care about? What are people going to vote for? And also just say, none of you are running against each other. So don't feel like, oh, I can't say that because someone's going to steal it and put it on their manifesto. So yeah, I'm going to type while you guys and I'm also going to put them all up on here. So feel free to just rally them off at me. You guys must have some ideas.
So something that I think this year learned from being Vice, and from my first manifesto I did last year, and even what people have come to me this year about is that people are feel really strongly about mental health and wellbeing support at uni. So I think that's a massive point, and I think we have definitely achieved a lot this year, but I still think there's stuff the university needs to be doing. So yeah, I think mental health and wellbeing definitely.
Right. Anything else? I'm just going to type if you reel them off at me.
I would just say inclusivity in just everything, in you know, different societies, different classes, even like going into uni or college. Inclusivity is very important, and people need to see representation and people that look like them in certain experiences or positions.
That's a great one. Okay, any more?
I think the diversity right now, that's a really highly discussed topic. Everyone wants everything to be diverse. Sometimes there is even a problem that some companies are hiring more diverse, so they're doing it on purpose to hire diverse roles, and that is a big issue. I think to recognize the diversity, it's not only race, but it's also, for example, about international students, and that what I want to cover in mine. Because me as an international student, when I came to this uni, I had no clue what I'm doing. With me, English as a second language, it was terrible. After first like 2 months, I was considering quit and leave back to my country. I missed my family, I missed my friends. So I was thinking that doing like some tutoring for students, like with the older students, so they could understand each other, maybe like some supporting group for international students and all of those.
Great. Anything else you want me to add on here?
I think going like to diversity and stuff, so being representation across like all the academic boards and not academic boards, but all like the boards and committees at uni, especially in the access participation equals up meeting. We talk a lot about BAME students at uni and the BAME teachers, but there's not actually many people. Like I think there's 2 people of colour that sit on that board. So yeah, it's just not it's not right.
Yeah, and another issues I think it's like sustainability at university. And I was thinking, because I have a lot of friends who are gluten-free, and there is almost no options for eating at university gluten-free things. So I would want to change that. Maybe vegan as well. I'm vegan, and there is really not a lot of things that I can eat.
Great.
And on Moss House, there is a lot of things on the Moss House, thankfully, but not really McIntyre House or on Summerall. There is almost nothing.
Okay. Great. So again, sorry today is a whistle stop tour. Unfortunately, all of these sessions are. I just want to finish up before past with some like top tips. So like my parting advice to you as you're writing your manifesto. Also, just to say, remember that this is just the tip of the iceberg. Like, I'm happy to read through people's manifestos, provide feedback. Also happy for you to like email me with any questions. So it's not just a case of this session and then go and write it. Just get in contact with me if you kind of need any support. But my kind of top tips for writing a manifesto are that less is definitely more. You want to think of your manifesto as a bit of a elevator pitch, something that you can quickly explain to someone in like 30 seconds to a minute, so that, you know, you'll also find it easier when you're campaigning if you can easily say, you know, I care about the mental health services, BAME representation and sustainability. People are like, okay, I know what those things are. So something quick and easy to explain. Also think about the rule of 3, and if not the rule of 3, then 5. So you want 3 or 5 kind of core points to your manifesto. Anything more than that, and I think it's firstly it's unachievable in terms of like students want to see something that you can actually deliver. So if you've got like 12 pledges, that's a lot of work and you only have 1 year to do it in. But people would rather see like a few things that they know you can actually achieve. And that leads on to the next thing, which is make sure that they're tangible. So saying like, I'm going to put a swimming pool on the top of Moss House, people are going to be like, that's ridiculous, because it is. But if you can say something that people actually understand. So obviously a lot of you are talking about diversity, which obviously is incredibly important, and inclusivity, but it's trying to think, what is the tangible outcome of that? So is it running a campaign to achieve XYZ goals? Is it increasing the amount of BAME staff on campus? Is it, you know, have a think about diversity and inclusion might be your like heading, but have a think about what's the actual outcome that you want. And if you're struggling with that, get in contact with me, because that's almost the hardest part of it. The second thing is make sure that you shine through your manifesto. Like, people want to hear about you and who you are as a person. So make it fit your personality, like make it fun and interesting, and, you know, try to find a way for your like passion and enthusiasm to come through. Also make sure that the things you put on your manifesto are things that you actually care about. I know that sounds silly, because I'm sure you all would be doing that anyway, but it's really common for people to be like, oh, I'm going to put this buzzword on here because I think people will vote for it. And then you talk about it and people are like, oh, like, you don't actually care about that. So like, I don't know, if you put sustainability, but like you actually couldn't care less if the planet is on fire, people will know, because when you talk about it, you'll just be like, yeah, recycling. Whereas if you're passionate about something, it shines through when you talk about it and write about it. And then finally, this is more just like a please do this because it just makes sense. In terms of the visuals of your manifesto, use when you go and log in on the system onto your actual like nomination, there'll be an opportunity to put a picture. Use the same picture there as you do on your manifesto, just because people look different in all kinds of pictures. But if people have seen your manifesto, seen your face, and then seen your ballot and seen the same face, they will be able to recognize that it's the same person. Whereas if you have different photos, sometimes people might be confused. Also use the same name. This sounds, again, might be obvious, because obviously you know what your name is, but like my Christian name is not the nickname that I use every day. And so if I put my Christian name on one thing, my nickname on another, people are going to be like, they're not the same person. So just, especially if you're going to put like your middle name or whatever, just make sure they're the same. Again, they're kind of the basics, but yeah, that was it from me basically. a pretty quick whistle-stop tour in terms of manifestos, and we don't have much time, but does anyone have any questions or anything they want to ask?
Can I send you like one, because I'm planning to do it today.
Mhm.
So can I send you like today, maybe tomorrow morning, like some quick preview?
Mhm.
So if you have like any points or like some ideas how to improve it.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
That
thanks.
goes out, obviously, for all of you. Send it over and I can have a look and give you some tips on it.
Amazing.
Great. Thanks for coming, everyone. And as always, drop me a message if you need me.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Cass.
See you
Bye,
later.
everyone.
Bye.